Okay, so I've got some small strips I ripped up. They're 7/8 by 7/8 by 20 inches long. And that size will vary depending on the size drumstick you're going to be making. So you'll have to experiment with that. So the first step is going to be to sharpen the skew chisel. And you need an 8-inch grinding wheel to get the proper grind on your skew. So you're going to start with the skew a little high on the wheel and just pull it back a little bit till you get full contact with the bevel. And you'll have a few small sparks shooting over the top, and you can see that this skew is flat on the wheel. So I'm not putting any down pressure on the skew, just lightly riding it back and forth and working it back and forth to get the full surface of the edge. And now I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing to the other side. So just slowly working it back and forth with a light touch. And I'm going to show you the angles to grind the skew at, because you need the proper angles on it. So the first one is 70 degrees. Now you can be a little over or a little under, but 70 is pretty much what you want. And the two side bevels are both 25 degrees. So that's pretty simple. Just need an angle finder and grind it on your grinding wheel. So I'm going to show you how I hold the skew when I'm doing the cutting. I'm using the toe down, that's the long end down, and the short end up and on an angle away from the workpiece. This is a tricky cut to get the hang of, but it's pretty safe once you get the hang of it and get the feel of it. It can seem a bit unsafe in the beginning, so just keep working on it and you will get the feel of it, and of how to ride the bevel and how much pressure to apply. And there's a lot to it, really. And this is me getting ready to turn down some drumsticks. Always wear your dust mask and always wear a face shield. And I have a smock on too, because it can get pretty dusty, you know. And always use a face shield, though. You have to protect your eyes and your face. You don't want an accident to happen, so. Okay, now I'm roughing down a drumstick, and I'm just showing from behind how I work my whole body back and forth in front of the lathe. And I'm just moving my legs and my feet, and holding the skew against my side and moving my whole body to make the cuts. And once you get the hang of this, it's a great way of working. You have a lot more control and accuracy with the chisel. So I'm going to show that from another angle, just to get an idea of what I'm doing. Just roughing down another stick and just going back and forth on my feet. And that's pretty much it for that. Now I'm just going to go over a bit more of using the skew to the workpiece. You can see I have it on an angle with the small short point up and away from the workpiece. That's very important, because if I bring it down, it can dig in. So I'm going to mount the stick, and I just do it by feel because the piece is so small, and tap it in, tighten up the tailstock end. I'm just going to show that from another angle. So I'm going to tap it in, just give it a couple of taps with the hammer till it seats, because you can split the workpiece out. So once that's done, I have the tailstock tightened up and not over tight, just snug it up. And then I'm going to do a V-cut about a ½ inch in from the end, and that's going to act as a stop when I'm working. So I'm not going to go off the end of the workpiece when I reach the end. It's going to have a stop there. That's a safety thing. So I'm doing both ends the same, just doing a V-cut. Just takes a couple of minutes. Now I've got it all set up with the tool rest in place. Give it a spin to make sure it's clear, and then I can start the lathe up. And now I'm ready to make my first cuts. And using the skew the way I showed to hold it. And I'm going to show this from a few different angles so you get a good idea of what I'm doing here. And using the long point, and I'm just working my way along the stick, taking the square corners off. This is roughing, so it can be fairly rough. I try to take a consistent shaving off there so it's consistent size for the stick. And you have to do this for a while to get the feel of that cut. And I take more refined cuts as the stick turns into a round cylinder. Then I can shave it down and get a clean cut surface, which is what I'm trying to do. So that when I get to the right size for the drumstick, I know I'll have a clean surface at that point. So just working it down. Taking some thinner shavings off now. I'm going to stop the lathe here and have a look and see how that turned out. And they're all different. You know, there's different grain and things, so they're all a little different. So this one actually turned out pretty good, so I'm going to take a close-up of it. And this is what you're trying to do, is to get a clean cut surface. No tear out and no rippling from vibration of the workpiece. Okay, now I'm going to show that cut from a different angle. Just so you can get an idea of what I'm doing before I go back to finishing that last drumstick off. So I'll do my V-cut again. To make the stop on the end. Because we don't want to go right off the end of the workpiece. So then, once I get that done, I don't want to go too deep there either, you know. I'm going to have some support. And then I'm going to use the long point down on the skew, and it just shaves into the workpiece, shaving the surface off. And that's a sharp edge, so it cuts really nice. So it's a nice sharp point. Now I'm going to work my way back along the stick, taking the square edges off. And this is roughing, so it can be fairly rough at this point. You don't have to worry about it. But as I take more off, I will refine the cut and go for a cleaner surface, so that when I reach my size that I'm trying to go for, then I've got a clean cut surface. Because you're going to have trouble with vibration and tear out. And it's just practice is going to cure that for you. And that's looking pretty nice there now. So now I'm going to go back and finish the first stick I was working on. And the challenge is going to be to come up with as clean a surface as I did on the headstock end. So I'm going to use the short point to plane down the end towards the tailstock end. it's safer than trying to go left-handed with the long point down. So that's the way I'm going to take the tailstock end off. So I'm just going to shave that down till it's round. And then I'm going to use the long point. I'm going to take the square edges off, just roughing it down. And I'm going to work it down till it's the same size as the other end. And take some shavings off of it here. It's still square at this point, so I'm not too worried if it's a little rough. As I get down a little further, I'll take more refined cuts. Just work that down there till I get the right size that I'm looking for, and then I'll work it along, taking it down as I go. You know, you can be pretty accurate this way, just going by eye. Although you will need your calipers for checking the size. So I'm getting very close here now to the size I want. Well, I'm a little over. I'll have more to take off it yet. So I'm going to size it down in the center a bit. And then I'm going to work my way along and take it down to that size. Now you can use your calipers there and take it down to the finished size you're going for. But I'm just going to go down slowly, working my way down. Do some more planing for the camera. And you'll find you can get a nice clean cut surface this way. You know, I worked a lot of different tools and different angles and things trying to make drumsticks, and this was the best way I came up with to do it. And you'll find that it works out really nice. So I'm just going to finish taking this down, shaving it off here a little bit, just to get a clean cut surface. And then I'm going to stop the lathe and take a look at that, just to see what I think. And yeah, it's coming out good too. So I'm going to take another close-up of that. Now, look, I still have more to take off too. Okay, well, I'm going to take a close-up of that, and so you can see the quality of work you can do with this technique is really good. And that's got no rippling, and I see one small piece of tear out. So I'm going to show you how to turn the stick and prevent that tear out from happening. You use your hand over the drumstick and just gently rubbing on the stick so it will absorb the vibration, so I'm not getting any rippling effect or tear out. And I'll use my thumb on the skew, and it just guides it along. And if your fingers are getting hot, you know, you'll know you're pushing too hard on the stick. So don't squeeze it or anything like that. Just check that out. And I'm going to take the other half of that down the same way, just to make sure there's no vibration. And get up to the headstock end. I don't need to use my hand because it's not going to vibrate there anyway. You'll find this very helpful in the turning. It'll help you to find the angle too by holding it with your thumb. And I'm just going to shave that down lightly until I get to this finished size. And if I'm not getting any vibration, then I won't need to use this technique. So some of the sticks I'm doing need it, and some of them don't. So you just have to go by how it works out for yourself. Just finishing cut going there now. Just lightly taking it down. and it's just, I can feel it vibrating against my fingers, but I'm not applying any pressure with my fingers, just rubbing lightly. Now I'll go back to that stick, and I'm not having any vibration problems here, so I can just use this technique for planing. And as you can see, I just slowly take it down. You can be as aggressive as you want with your chisel, as long as you're getting a clean cut surface. So you can stop the lathe and just see how it's coming up. Just to make sure you're not getting any tear out or rippling from vibration. Now I'm just going to finish off the other side of this stick. I got that side the right size after quite a bit of planing. Now I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive with it now, because I can see that there's some to take off. So I'm taking some heavier cuts here, and then I'll get down to taking the finer finishing cuts when I get down to my desired size. So I'm just going by eye here, and you can be pretty accurate, but when you come back with your calipers and check it, you'll find there'll be some spots that might need a little more turning. So I'm going to stop the lathe, and this is the finished size for the stick. And I'm going to take another close-up because it came out pretty good. And this is what you're looking for. I'm a little out of focus there, so I'm going to take the camera around, take a look at the stick. And you can see that it's a pretty nice piece of work, and it's ready for sanding at this point. Now when you get to this point, if your stick is rough, which it most likely will be, you can sand with a coarse grit of sandpaper, and you can take a lot of your mistakes away. This stick came out pretty nice, so I'm starting with a 180 grit. Now you could start with a 100 or even an 80 grit if it's bad enough. That if you have tear out, you have to sand quite a bit off. So you just have to do what you have to do to get the desired finish that you want. So I'm going to sand that a bit there. Now I'm going to lay out my lines for doing the tip and cutting the butt end. And I'm just copying from another stick here. You can make yourself some templates for different size sticks, and you can be very accurate that way, so it's probably a good idea to make templates. And I'm just drawing out where my lines are going to go. And the first cut is just going straight in, and it was just at the back of the tip of the stick. Now I'm going to shave down the bevel with the short end of the skew. That's the heel down. And try to get a flat surface going here. And you don't need to be taking much off with each cut. And this cut comes out pretty nice and clean. You can see I worked all the way back to the line, but I'm going to leave the line on there, because if I take the line off, I don't know how much I've taken off. So I want to leave the line and work down from there. And I'll just keep shaving it down until I get to this desired size, just going by eye, and then I'll try the calipers on it. Just going to cut it a little deeper there because I've got more to take off. And just keep shaving away at it. And you can be more aggressive with this too if you want, as long as you come up with the desired finish. You know, you can use whatever techniques you already know. And that size was good there, so I'm ready to cut the tip, the end of the tip. So I'm doing half a V-cut. I'm cutting the front of the stick flat, and I'm going to show it from another angle so you get to see what I'm doing. But I'm just cutting part way in. I don't need to go too deep. And then I'm ready to roll the back edge of the tip. So the skew has to go from horizontal and work all the way up to vertical to get around that turn. It's a hard turn to make, so you need to practice some bead turning, V-cutting and bead turning. And that there is good. Came out nice, just like that. So I'm ready to do the front of the tip now. So there's more to taper off there, so it takes a bit more work. But the skew, once again, has to go from horizontal all the way up to vertical, so that I know I'm around the turn. And I just keep tapering it down, and there I go all the way around. And that's it. Now I'm ready to sand a bit, just to get that sanded the way the rest of the stick is sanded with the 180 grit. And that was a nice clean edge, so it's not going to require a lot of sanding. It's a good stick. Get the back of the tip and the front of the tip. You can start with the coarser grit if it's rough, and you can sand a lot of your problems away while you're learning to make drumsticks. So now what I would do is some clearing cuts there, so that I can get in with the tip of the skew. I'm using the long point down, and I'm still rounding the tip of the stick off there as I go. And I'll just keep working the way down until the stick falls off, and it's pretty safe that way. They just generally drop right on the lathe. And so I'm going to show that from a different angle, get a different idea of how the tip is done. Okay, so the first cut is going to go straight in, and then I'm going to cut the bevel with the short tip down, and just try to get a flat surface going, you know. And it's a pretty easy cut once you do it a few times. And just slowly tapering it down. And it's coming up pretty clean. And I go by eye until I get close, and then I'll get the calipers out and see what I think. It looks like it's dead on right there. Now I'll get a little close-up going of turning the front and back of the tip. These are tricky cuts to make. I'll just cut straight in for the first cut. It's like I'm making half of a V-cut. Have to move my tool rests a little bit to get in there on an angle. So, V-cut, and cut the face of the stick straight down. So it's a deepening cut. And then a V-cut. And then a deepening cut again. And that's about as far as I'm going to go. I don't want to worry about any vibration happening when I'm rolling the beads for the tip. So, back bead. You have to start horizontal and go all the way up. And not cut into the stick at the same time, so it can be hard. So as you see, I'm going slowly working my way back on the tip. With each cut, I work my way back a little bit further, and I'm getting a nice taper happening there. And I'll get it and go all the way around, and that'll be it. Once it cleans it up all the way around, it's ready for sanding. And that's another one that came out good. So I get my 180 grit out, do a bit of sanding again, makes a nice clean drumstick. And what I'm going to do now is make another stick, just to go through the process again, from start to end, from another angle. You can see how the skew is being used a little better. Let's just be more planing again, making my stop in the end. And using the long tip down, you can see how the back corner is up. I'm just working my way along, taking the square edges off. And then take some roughing cuts. Just taking the square edges off, cleaning it up. Once I get so that it's round, I try to take a little more refined cut. To try to keep a clean cut surface the whole time through the process. It's good practice. This looks like it's coming out pretty good. There's a lot of planing involved in making a drumstick. Just go by eye and you can see that it's coming out pretty even. Try to keep a consistent shaving there. I think that's it. I'll take a look at that. Yeah, it looks good. I'm going to do a close-up of that, just to see how it looks. And it's really clean. Just like that. Now I'm going to do the other end of the stick. And see if I can come up with as good a job as I did on the first half. And just do my V-cut, ½ inch in from the end. Just a safety thing. I'm going to use the short point going towards the tailstock end, because it's hard to do the left-handed cut for the long tip down. So I just turn the stick around and use the short tip to take that end down. So then I'm going to take the square edges off, working my way along. And back into the planing again. Roughing it off here. You can have some fun with it once you get the feel of this, holding the skew this way. Be a little scary in the beginning. I'm shaving it off there now. trying to come up with a clean cut surface. Doesn't always work out that way. So I have to take some fine shavings to really work it down. And I'll see what that looks like. Looks good. That's as good as I can ask for. That's ready for sanding. Anyway, I decided I've got more to take off. So I'm going to take the tailstock end down a little bit. Just using the short tip for that. Then I'll be back to doing some planing and demonstrate how to use the hand over technique again. And you can tell that I'm not squeezing the stick or pressing hard against it. I'm just feeling the vibration in my hand when the stick tries to vibrate. And I just keep working my way along, taking some pretty fine cuts off. If you're having trouble with one, it'll take a bit of work to clean it up. But that's pretty much how it's done right there. And there's no rippling from any vibration or anything. So it looks good. And that worked out all right. It's a useful technique. So I decided I'm going to take a little more off. And just wanted to make sure it was a clean cut surface. Take a little more off to get down to the size that I'm working on for the drumstick. And I'm gonna, if you don't need to use the hand over technique, then you can just plane like I'm doing, and I'm just shaving it off because I really want to get a clean surface here. I'm not in any hurry to get it done. And I just work my way along the stick, trying to keep a consistent size. Yeah, it's shaving off pretty nice there. I generally sharpen my skew too, just before I do my final cuts. I have a shot from a different angle. See how the back corner of the skew is up. And it's pretty safe that way. So just planing down another stick. Give it a different angle with the hand over position to eliminate vibration, which is one of the hardest things to deal with. And in towards the headstock, it's not going to vibrate, so you're alright there. Still using my thumb on it to guide the skew. And just working away on the whole stick doing that. And I must have been having problems with that one. It's a good technique. And I'll get another close-up of that one. And it looks good. And just checking that one for size. And it looks good. Nice and clean finish. That's before sanding. So I'll get my sandpaper again and go at it. It always needs to be sanded. Nice smooth stick. It can take a while to get to this point. I've made a lot of drumsticks. So I'm just going to lay out my lines and do it again. Get a close-up of this one. Cut it in at the back of the tip. And plane it down. Try to get a nice flat surface going that you can ride the bevel on. Work your way back to the line. And you just have to go by eye to get close to their size. And then check it with the calipers. Looks good so far. Okay, I just got a little bit more to take off of that one. That's looking pretty close right there. Take a bit more off. Okay, and that one looks good too. Cut the tip again. Get a flat surface going on the front of the tip. You need to practice some V cutting and bead rolling. It will help a lot in drumstick making. And you can use whatever tools and ideas you already have to turn the beads to the tip. Whatever works best for you, so you don't have to learn a totally new technique. You might use a scraper or parting tool, spin to gouge, or a skew. Get around that tip. Pick it up part way in. And get it. Then I'll do my sanding again. My 180 grit sandpaper. And then I'll cut it off. Do some clearing cuts first. Give myself some room to get the skew in there. And I'll just keep working it down until the drumstick falls off. And I'll just sand the tip and the butt end too on a disc sander, just to clean them up, to get that nib off the tip. That one came out good. So just doing a little more planing again, making another stick. It's a little rough there, but I can clean that up. Pretty quick. And I just keep working my way down to get to the size I want for the drumstick I'm working on. And these sticks are coming out pretty good. You can do some nice work. Takes a bit of practice. Gotta get the feel of the skew. How hard to push against the workpiece. You gotta have a pretty light touch. Trying to clean that up there now. Taking some fine shavings off. And I just keep working away at it. See what the size that is now. Still needs more off. A little more. Now I'm working on the opposite end now. See how the skew kind of floats along in the air above the workpiece. Just cutting those square corners off. You can get a good finish this way. Just keep planing it down. Using the long tip. And you can have a few different sized drumsticks you're working on. Keeps it more interesting. Check that for size. And it still needs more off. So I'm going to get a close-up of that. See what that looks like. Give you an idea of how the chisel is shaving off the surface. And the workpiece isn't vibrating. That's the reason for using the tip. You can cut out the vibration. And that's probably getting down pretty close to the size I want now. And the size looks good. Looking on the other end, just for a bit. Let's take a little bit off. Even it up at the other end. And I'll take another shot of that, another angle. And I'm going to get a close-up of this angle. And I'm holding the skew fairly even with the workpiece here. You'll be able to see how I got the back end of the skew up and away from the workpiece. And the workpiece is not vibrating. It's very important. And I'm just taking some nice shavings off again. So I'm really close to the finished size here. And these close-up shots are good. And that looks great right there. Perfect size. And just take a quick look at that now. And it's ready for sanding. If there are any imperfections in it, they'll just sand out. So when you get to this point, if your stick's a little rough, the sandpaper will save you. Use like 100 grit. It'll cut pretty quick. Even an 80 if it's bad enough. And you can make the sticks look pretty good until you get your technique down better. And that's looking really nice there right now. And take a look at cutting the butt end of the stick. It's kind of a V groove, but I go steep on the end of the stick. Got a steep angle to it. And I don't go down too far because I need enough material there to turn down the tip without getting any vibration. And just checking the size on that bevel. And I'm ready to cut the tip on another one. And I'm going to V-cut this one. So the front of the stick is going to be tapered differently. You can see I'm doing a V-cut. So it's going to have a longer tip, more tapered tip. I guess there's a few different ways of doing this. You know, you'll pick up your own techniques and things as you go along. And whatever works for you. You know, if you come up with a good product, just rolling that back tip. And now I'll do the front. And you can see how much more tapered it's going to be than the other sticks. And we're getting close to the end of the video now. I just keep working away on more drumsticks. Try to pick that up and ride it all the way around the tip. And that's when I'm done. Got a nice clean tip there. And showing it from another angle, I have my finger hooked underneath the tool rest, which gives me better control over the chisel. Holding the chisel with my fingers. And this is an important hold for making drumsticks. Just want to show you a few more angles on it. See how I've got my thumb on top of the skew. I just roll my hand backwards. And I can make that turn with a very light hold on the chisel too. And there's the tip. Just have to take the nib off. Be perfectly fine stick. And the back end The butt end, I'll just sand that off on the disc sander. And here I am just sizing up another stick. So I'm just wrapping it up now for the video. And that's pretty much the end. So you've seen me make a few sticks. Hopefully you picked up a few techniques along the way. And you'll be out making drumsticks. It's a great hobby. And a lot of fun. And keep checking your calipers to make sure the size doesn't change. You get in trouble that way. And just gonna cut another stick off there, and that'll be it for the video now. So that's it.